August 6, 1945, 8:15 a.m., Hiroshima, Japan. A B-29 bomber flies through clear morning skies. The aircraft is named Enola, piloted by Colonel Paul Tibbets. Inside the bomb bay, a single weapon, a weapon unlike any ever created. The weapon is called Little Boy, an atomic bomb, the first atomic bomb ever used in warfare. The bomb is about to change human history forever. The Manhattan Project context. The atomic bomb is the result of years of secret research. The Manhattan Project. The project began in 1941, started by American scientists who had fled Nazi Europe. Scientists who feared Germany might develop atomic weapons first. The project cost nearly $2 billion. Employed 130,000 people, operated in complete secrecy. 3 major facilities: Oak Ridge, Tennessee, uranium enrichment; Hanford, Washington, plutonium production; Los Alamos, New Mexico, bomb design and assembly. The project was run by General Leslie Groves. The scientific director was J. Robert Oppenheimer. The goal: build the first atomic bomb before Germany did. The Trinity test, July 16, 1945. White Sands Proving Ground, New Mexico. The first nuclear device is tested, codenamed Trinity. The explosion is massive. The fireball is brilliant. The blast wave is powerful. The test proves atomic weapons work. The physics works, the engineering works. Witnesses to the test are stunned. The power is beyond comprehension. Robert Oppenheimer later remembers a quote from Hindu scripture: "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Truman learns the secret. Harry Truman becomes president in April 1945, after Franklin Roosevelt's death. Truman had no knowledge of the atomic bomb project. Roosevelt had kept it secret. Truman is briefed, told that the United States has developed atomic weapons. Truman is informed that the bomb could end the war with Japan. The war situation in July 1945, Germany has surrendered. May 8, 1945. The war in Europe is over. The war in the Pacific continues. Japan is still fighting. Japan is damaged but not defeated. Japanese forces are defending the home islands. The Allies are preparing for invasion, Operation Downfall. The invasion of Japan would happen in phases: Operation Olympic, November 1945. Invasion of Kyushu, Operation Coronet, March 1946. Invasion of Honshu, main island. The invasion casualties estimate. The invasion would be the bloodiest operation in American history. American military estimates: 250,000 to 1,000 plus. American casualties: 5 to 10 million Japanese casualties, military and civilian. The figures are staggering. The invasion would be devastating. Some estimates suggested 20 million total Japanese deaths if the war continued. Japan's situation: Japan is trapped. Japan is isolated. Japan is running out of resources. Japanese military is exhausted but still fighting. Japanese government is divided. Some Japanese leaders want to surrender. Others demand fight to the death. The Japanese military has ordered 100 million deaths before surrender. The military has prepared civilian population for mass suicide rather than surrender. The Potsdam Declaration, July 26, 1945. The Allies issue the Potsdam Declaration. The declaration demands Japan surrender unconditionally. The declaration threatens prompt and utter destruction if Japan does not surrender. The declaration does not mention the atomic bomb. The bomb is secret. Japan receives the declaration. Japan's response: ignore it, continue fighting. Truman's decision at Potsdam, July 25, 1945. Truman makes the decision. Decision: use the atomic bomb against Japan. The decision is approved by Secretary of War Henry Stimson. By General George Marshall. The order is issued. Special Bombing Mission Number 13. Targets are designated: Hiroshima, primary; Kokura, Niigata, Nagasaki, alternatives. The rationale: Truman's reasoning. Atomic bomb might force surrender without invasion. Invasion would cost millions of lives. Atomic bomb would shock Japan into surrender. Truman later justified the decision as avoiding a rain of ruin from the air, worse than the atomic bombs. The decision is controversial, then and now. The 509th Composite Group is the unit chosen for the mission. The group is based on Tinian Island in the Pacific. Colonel Paul Tibbets commands the group. Tibbets is a skilled pilot. Tibbets has 400+ hours flying B-29s. The group has been training for months, secretly training. The group knows they have a special mission. They don't know it's atomic. Paul Tibbets is born in 1915. He is a career military officer. Tibbets flew B-17s in Europe. Flew bombing missions, survived. Tibbets is selected to command the 509th. Is selected to pilot the atomic bomb mission. Tibbets is confident. Tibbets believes he is the best pilot for the job. Tibbets will be 30 years old on August 6, 1945. The B-29 is the most advanced bomber of the era. Advanced for 1945. The B-29 is designed for high-altitude bombing, for range, for payload. Tibbets modified the B-29s for the atomic mission, removed some armaments, lightened the aircraft. Tibbets wanted speed and altitude, wanted to escape the blast. Tibbets names his B-29 Enola, the name of his mother. Tibbets chose the name the day before the mission, August 5, 1945. Tibbets says, "I knew the airplane was going to be famous. I didn't want a duplication of names, the Enola, the name that will be remembered forever." Little boy weighs 9,700 pounds. The bomb is 28 inches in diameter. The bomb uses uranium-235 gun-type design. Fires one piece of uranium into another. The bomb's explosive power, 15 kilotons of TNT, equivalent to 15,000 tons of conventional explosives. Less than 2% of the uranium actually undergoes fission. Yet the power is devastating. Captain William D. Parsons is assigned. Parsons is a Navy officer, weapons specialist. Parsons will arm the bomb during flight. Not on the ground, too risky. Parsons will fly in the bomb bay with the bomb. During the flight, Parsons' assistant, Second Lieutenant Morris Jepson. Jepson will insert the arming plugs 30 minutes before target. The Enola has 12 crew members. Pilot, Colonel Paul Tibbets. Pilot, Robert Lewis. Co-pilot, Bombardier, Tom Farabee, will sight the bomb onto target. Navigator, Dutch Van Kirk will plot the route. Radar operator, Jacob Beezer, will track bomb's fall. Flight engineer, Wyatt Dusenberry. And others, radio operator, weapons specialists, gunners. Each crew member knows they are part of history. The gravity is intense, August 5, 1945. Evening, the crew is briefed. Tibbets goes to the back of the aircraft, gathers the crew. Tibbets announces, "We are on our way to drop a special weapon on Hiroshima. The blast and the explosion are going to be big as hell." The crew is stunned. They are going to drop an atomic bomb. They know now. Tibbets offers cyanide to the crew, in case something goes wrong, in case the mission fails. Only 2 crew members accept the cyanide. August 6, 1945, 2:45 a.m. The Enola is fueled, ready. The crew enters the aircraft. Checks systems, prepares for flight. The tension is intense. The significance is overwhelming. This is the day that will change the world, 45 a.m. The Enola rolls down the runway on Tinian Island. The runway is 6,000 feet long. The aircraft is heavy. The takeoff is difficult. The Enola nearly doesn't make it. Gets airborne barely. Clears the runway. The aircraft gains altitude. Climbs toward Japan, toward Hiroshima, toward history. The flight to Japan. The Enola flies toward Japan. The flight takes about 6 hours. 2 other B-29s accompany it. The Great Artiste, carrying measuring instruments. Necessary Evil, carrying cameras to document the blast. The route is northwestward, from Tinian toward Hiroshima. The aircraft reached 31,000 feet, high-altitude bombing run. The morning clear. The weather over Hiroshima is clear. Perfect visibility. The target city is visible below. Hiroshima, unaware of what's coming. Hiroshima is not under air raid alert. No sirens, no warning. The city is going about its morning routine. People are going to work. Children going to school. The city has population of about $300,000, about 43,000 soldiers. The target selection. Hiroshima is chosen because large urban center, important military installation, relatively untouched by bombing, want to see bombs effect clearly. Alternative targets, Kokura, Nagasaki, Niigata, available if Hiroshima clouded Tom Farabee, the bombardier, looks through his bomb sight. The city is clear. The aiming point is clear. The bombing run, 8:09 am Hiroshima time. The Enola begins the bombing run. The aircraft is at 31,000 feet, flying on automatic pilot. The bomb bay doors open. The bomb is exposed. Tom Farabee lines up the target through his bomb sight. The target, a bridge, a specific aiming point. The hypocenter will be slightly off. The bomb release, 8:15 am Hiroshima time. Exactly. Tom Farabee releases the bomb. The bomb falls from the aircraft. In seconds of fall, the weight is gone from the aircraft. The aircraft becomes lighter. Tibbets immediately banks the aircraft. Dives away, wants distance from the blast. The descent. The bomb falls through the air. 31,000 feet down to 1,900 feet. The barometric triggers are set. Time triggers are set. The bomb descends, passes through Japanese airspace, approaches detonation height. Radar operator Jacob Beezer tracks the bomb as it falls. Seconds of fall. The detonation. 1,900 feet above Hiroshima. Above a parade field where Japanese soldiers are doing calisthenics. The bomb detonates, a massive nuclear explosion. A blinding flash of light. The flash is brighter than the sun, hotter than the surface of the sun. The blast wave travels outward. The shock wave travels at supersonic speed. The blast moment. At ground level, people are vaporized. Instantly, nothing left. Not even shadows, except where shadows are burned into stone. Buildings are destroyed, collapsed. Obliterated, the blast wave travels outward. Destroys buildings up to 5,700 feet away. The shock wave reaches the Enola Gay, 11.5 miles away. The aircraft is buffeted, shaken. Tibbets feels the shock wave, rocks the aircraft. The firestorm. Fires break out everywhere, simultaneously. The heat of the explosion ignites fires. Knocked over stoves ignite. Electrical shorts ignite. Within 20 minutes, the fires have merged into a firestorm. The firestorm pulls in surface air from all directions, creates Inferno. The firestorm consumes everything flammable. Burn 8 square miles, 13 square kilometers. The mushroom cloud. A mushroom cloud forms, rises, grows. The cloud rises to 40,000 feet. The cloud expands. The cloud is visible from 400 miles away. The cloud is photographed, documented, becomes the iconic image. The great artiste and necessary evil photograph the cloud, document the destruction. The return flight. The Enola Gay turns back. Heads for Tinian. The crew is silent, in shock, amazed. Paul Tibbets later remembers. The whole sky lit up when it exploded. There was nothing but a black boiling mess hanging over the city. You wouldn't have known that the city of Hiroshima was there. The aircraft flies back. The mission is complete. Hiroshima destroyed below. Hiroshima is destroyed. Over 90% of buildings destroyed or severely damaged. The city is flattened, erased. Gone, fires burn intensely. The firestorm consumes the city. No city services. No water. No electricity. No communication. In Hiroshima, chaos, confusion, destruction. Approximately 70,000, 80,000 people are killed instantly. Tens of thousands more are wounded. Burned, injured. The medical system is destroyed. Hospitals are destroyed. Doctors are dead. People don't understand what happened. Where the destruction came from. President Truman announces the bombing to the American people. Truman says, 16 hours ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima. The force from which the sun draws its power has been loosed against those who brought war to the Far East. The world learns about the atomic bomb, realizes the war has changed. The Japanese military is stunned. One bomb destroyed an entire city. The Japanese military initially denies the destruction, dismisses reports as propaganda, but more information arrives. The destruction is confirmed. The Japanese government is torn. Some want to surrender, others want to fight. The bomb falls, the bomb explodes. The city is destroyed. But the story doesn't end at 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945. The story continues. The aftermath, the suffering, the consequences, the destruction immediate. At ground level. At the hypocenter, the temperature is millions of degrees. People within 1 mile incinerated. Vaporized, nothing remains. People within 2 miles, severe burns. 3rd-degree burns, exposed flesh. People within 3 miles, severe radiation burns. Hair loss, skin damage. The blast wave breaks bones, ruptures organs, causes internal injuries. The radiation burns tissues, damages DNA, causes radiation sickness. The heat rays. The bomb releases intense heat rays. Thermal radiation. The heat travels at the speed of light. Instantly, within a 1 mile radius, everything combustible ignites. Wooden buildings instantly catch fire. Grass and plants instantly ignite. Clothing on human bodies catches fire. The heat is so intense that people's clothes burn off. Skin is burned. People at distances of 1 to 2 miles suffer severe thermal burns. The shadow burns. One famous victim is sitting on stone steps, about 850 feet from the hypocenter. The person is hit by the intense thermal radiation. The body absorbs the heat. The body is vaporized, but the body shields the stone behind it. The stone is not hit by heat. The shadow remains. A permanent shadow burned into the stone. The shadow shows the person's shape, a haunting reminder. The destruction zone. Immediate destruction. 1 mile radius. Nearly total destruction. Severe destruction, 2-mile radius. Majority of buildings destroyed. Moderate destruction, 3-mile radius. Many buildings damaged. Lighter damage, 4 or 5-mile radius. Buildings damaged but standing. The destruction zone covers about 13 square kilometers, 5 square miles. Within 30 minutes, fires have merged into Firestorm. The Firestorm. The Firestorm is self-sustaining. It pulls in air from all directions. The Firestorm temperature, 3,000 plus degrees. The Firestorm consumes everything. Wood, paper, flesh, fabric. The Firestorm moves through the city, burning everything in its path. The Firestorm burns for hours, burns through the night. By the next morning, the city is still burning. The buildings destroyed, over 60,000 of 90,000 buildings destroyed or severely damaged. This represents 67% of all buildings in the city. Steel frame buildings, damaged up to 5,700 feet from the hypocenter. Multi-story brick buildings, damaged up to 6,600 feet. Wooden houses, destroyed up to maximum radius, 11,000 feet. The destruction is total, nearly complete. The infrastructure destroyed. Water system, 70,000 breaks in water pipes. No water available. Electrical system, 80% of systems damaged. No electricity. Telephone system, 80% damaged. No communication. Gas lines, broken and dangerous. Roads and bridges, damaged, but some still passable. The city infrastructure is destroyed. The medical system collapse. Hospitals destroyed. Medical clinics destroyed. Health centers destroyed. 90% of medical personnel killed or wounded. Medical supplies destroyed. No bandages. No medicine. No anesthesia. The survivors need medical care. There is no medical care available. The wounded lie in the streets, in the rubble, untreated. Infection becomes a major killer. Wounds become gangrenous. The radiation sickness begins within days. Radiation sickness symptoms appear. Symptoms: nausea and vomiting, hair loss, diarrhea with blood, mouth sores, bleeding from gums and throat. The symptoms are caused by radiation exposure, acute radiation sickness. People who were far from hypocenter but exposed to radiation develop sickness. People die from radiation sickness. Deaths peak 3 to 4 weeks after bombing. The casualty count by end of August 1945, estimated 70,000, 80,000 killed immediately, estimated 40,000, 50,000 severely wounded by end of September. Deaths increase. Radiation sickness, infections, diseases. By end of December 1945, estimated 140,000 total deaths in Hiroshima. This includes immediate deaths plus delayed deaths from injuries and radiation. The missing. Many people are vaporized. Nothing remains. Many people are buried in rubble. Bodies not recovered. The exact death toll is uncertain. Many people are missing. The missing persons lists are long. Families search, don't find. The survivors' injuries. Burns, covering large portions of body. Blast injuries, broken bones, internal injuries. Lacerations, radiation sickness, acute and long-term. Psychological trauma, seeing loved ones die. Seeing the destruction. Many survivors are permanently disabled. The burn hit. Many survivors are severely burned. Third-degree burns. The burns don't heal easily. Infections develop without antibiotics. Without medical care, infections kill. The burned suffer intense pain. Pain from burns, pain from treatment attempts. Some of the burned lose limbs, become amputees. The search for family. Survivors search for family members. Walk through the ruins looking for husbands, wives, children, parents. Many are dead. Bodies are buried, not identified. Many are injured. In the rubble, still alive. The searches are desperate, heartbreaking. The mass burials. So many bodies, so many dead. The bodies are buried in mass graves, cremation sites. Family members are unable to identify bodies, unable to perform proper funerals. The sense of loss is overwhelming. The food shortage. Food supplies are destroyed. Crops are destroyed. Markets are destroyed. There is no food available. Survivors are starving. They have no food. The food shortage lasts for months, causes additional deaths. The water crisis. Water pipes are broken, water system destroyed. The water that is available is contaminated with human waste. Waterborne diseases spread. Dysentery, cholera, typhoid. People die from contaminated water. The survivors desperately need clean water. The disease outbreak. Without sanitation, without clean water, diseases spread. Dysentery spreads, cholera spreads, typhoid spreads. People who survive the bomb die from disease. The disease death toll is significant. The homeless rate. Approximately 100,000 plus people are homeless. Their homes are destroyed. Everything is destroyed. The homeless are living in the rubble, in makeshift shelters. The homeless are living on the streets. In parks, there are no shelters, no relief centers, no help. The winter is coming. The homeless will face cold, starvation. The psychological impact. Survivors are traumatized. They have seen horrors beyond comprehension. They have seen loved ones vaporized, burned, crushed. They have seen the city destroyed. Total destruction. The psychological damage is profound. Survivors develop PTSD symptoms, nightmares, anxiety, depression. The psychological effects last lifetimes. The international reaction. The world is shocked. An entire city destroyed in an instant. By one bomb, by a single weapon. The reaction is mixed. Some celebrate. The war might end. Some are horrified. The power is terrifying. Some question the necessity. Was it justified? The Soviet Declaration. August 8, 1945. The Soviet Union declares war on Japan. The Soviets begin invading Manchuria. The Soviets attack Japanese forces. The Soviets are now in the war against Japan. The Japanese are surrounded. Germany surrendered. Soviets now attacking. Japan is running out of time, running out of options. The second bomb, August 9, 1945, 3 days later. The United States drops a second atomic bomb. On Nagasaki, the second bomb is Fat Man, a plutonium bomb more powerful than Little Boy. Nagasaki is destroyed. Another 70,000 plus people killed. Japan now has 2 cities destroyed, 2 atomic bombs. The shock is even greater. The threat is even clearer. The Japanese surrender decision. August 9, 1945. Japanese government meets. The situation is hopeless. Germany surrendered. Soviets now attacking. 2 cities destroyed by atomic bombs. The government votes on surrender. The vote is 3-3 tied. The emperor breaks the tie. The emperor orders surrender. August 15, 1945. The emperor announces surrender to the Japanese people. The armistice. August 15, 1945. Japan announces surrender. The fighting stops. The war is over. The formal surrender is signed September 2, 1945, aboard the USS Missouri. The war that killed millions, that destroyed civilizations. The war is finally over. But the story of Hiroshima doesn't end with the war. The story continues, years, decades, to the present day. The radiation sickness continues. Long-term effects develop. Cancer rates increase. Leukemia rates increase. Children are born with radiation-induced birth defects. In the months after the bombing, acute radiation sickness deaths. By end of 1945, 140,000 dead in Hiroshima. In the years after, cancer deaths, leukemia deaths. By 1950s, excess leukemia becomes obvious. Cancer rates rising. The radiation effects extend decades. Survivors live with permanent injuries, permanent disabilities. Survivors live with psychological trauma, PTSD nightmares. Some survivors become advocates, tell their stories, demand nuclear disarmament. The survivor stories are heartbreaking, but powerful. The immediate death toll, 140,000 by end of 1945. The long-term death toll, hundreds of thousands more in following decades. Radiation-induced cancers, not leukemia. Chronic diseases. The total death toll from Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, estimated 250,000 plus by present day. The destruction recovery. Hiroshima begins recovery. Slowly, painfully, the debris is cleared. The streets are cleared. New buildings are constructed. Temporary shelters become homes. Over years and decades, Hiroshima is rebuilt. The memorial. A memorial is built. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. The Genbaku Dome, atomic bomb dome, is preserved, shows the destruction. The memorial is visited by hundreds of thousands annually. The memorial reminds the world of the atomic bomb, of nuclear war's consequences. The message. Hiroshima's message. Nuclear weapons must never be used again. The destruction is unimaginable. The suffering is incalculable. The survivors say, never again, no more nuclear weapons. The message from Hiroshima. World peace. Disarmament. No more nuclear war. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima is one of history's pivotal moments. The moment changed warfare, changed international relations, changed human history itself. The military significance. The bombing proved atomic weapons were effective, were deliverable by aircraft. The bomb destroyed an entire city. In a single instant, the bomb demonstrated that tactical nuclear weapons could be used in warfare. The implications were revolutionary. Nuclear weapons would change military strategy forever. The strategic significance. The bombing was intended to force Japan's surrender without invasion. The invasion would have cost millions of lives. American and Japanese, the atomic bomb achieved surrender, saved millions of lives, or so the argument goes. This argument remains controversial. The surrender decision. Did the atomic bomb cause Japan to surrender, or did other factors cause the surrender? The factors: Soviet declaration of war, August 8th, American conventional bombing campaign, firebombing, naval blockade, starvation. The atomic bombs, which factor was decisive? Historians debate. Some argue the atomic bombs were decisive. Without them, invasion would have occurred. Others argue Japan was already defeated, would have surrendered without atomic bombs. The controversial decision. The decision to drop the atomic bombs remains controversial. Arguments for the decision: saved American lives, no invasion needed; saved Japanese lives, no invasion meant less death; demonstrated atomic bombs' power, influenced post-war diplomacy; arguments against the decision: killed civilians; morally wrong, unnecessary; Japan was already defeated; opened nuclear age, led to nuclear arms race; set precedent for nuclear weapons use. The moral argument. The atomic bombing killed approximately 140,000 people in Hiroshima. Most of the dead were civilians, innocent people, women and children. The killing of civilians is morally problematic. Many argue, morally wrong, the scale of death, the nature of the weapon, the suffering. These raise profound moral questions. The utilitarian argument. Some argue utilitarian perspective. The invasion would have killed millions, American and Japanese. The atomic bomb killed hundreds of thousands. Mathematically, the atomic bomb killed fewer people than invasion would have. Therefore, using the bomb was the moral choice. The just war theory. Just war theory has criteria for justified warfare. Criteria: just cause, right intention, last resort, legitimate authority, probability of success, proportionality. Did the atomic bombing meet these criteria? Debate continues. Some say yes, some say no. The civilian death toll. The atomic bomb killed civilians. Indiscriminate killing of civilians. 38,000 of 140,000 dead were children. Entire families vaporized. Entire neighborhoods destroyed. The scale of civilian death is unprecedented for a single weapon. The precedent set. The atomic bombing set a precedent. Nuclear weapons can be used. The precedent influences future policy, future decisions. Would nuclear weapons be used again? If precedent exists, maybe. The precedent is questioned. Is using nuclear weapons now acceptable? The nuclear age begins. August 6, 1945 marks the beginning of the nuclear age. From this moment forward, nuclear weapons exist. Nuclear weapons can be delivered. The world is forever changed. The threat of nuclear war exists. The Cold War emerges, built on nuclear weapons, built on the fear of nuclear weapons. The Soviet observation. The Soviets observe the atomic bombing. Watch the destruction. The Soviets realize nuclear weapons are powerful, are world-changing. The Soviets accelerate their nuclear weapons program. By 1949, the Soviet Union has its own atomic bomb. The nuclear arms race begins. The post-war Japan. Japan surrenders September 2, 1945. The war is over. Japan is occupied. By American forces, by General Douglas MacArthur. The occupation lasts until 1952. 7 years. Japan is demilitarized. Disarmed, occupied. The Japanese recovery. Japan recovers from the atomic bombings. Over decades, the recovery is slow. The recovery is difficult. Hiroshima and Nagasaki are rebuilt. New cities are built. Memorials are built to remember, to honor the dead, the survivors. The survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are called Hibakusha. There are approximately 200,000 plus Hibakusha, survivors of the atomic bombings. The Hibakusha face stigma, face discrimination. The Hibakusha develop long-term health problems, radiation-induced diseases. The Hibakusha legacy. The Hibakusha become advocates for nuclear disarmament. The Hibakusha tell their stories, their testimonies. The Hibakusha travel worldwide, speaking about atomic bombs, about nuclear weapons. The Hibakusha message: never again, no more nuclear weapons. The medical research. Medical researchers study the atomic bomb survivors. The Atomic Bomb Casualty Commission is formed. becomes Radiation Effects Research Foundation. The research documents immediate effects, burns, blast injuries, radiation sickness, long-term effects, cancer, leukemia, genetic effects, health outcomes, mortality rates, disease incidence. The research continues for decades. The cancer epidemic. By 1950s, cancer rates in Hiroshima are elevated. Leukemia rates increase dramatically. Solid cancers increase. Thyroid cancer, lung cancer, stomach cancer. The cancer rates remain elevated for decades. The cancer is caused by radiation exposure. The genetic effects. Children born to exposed parents show higher rates of genetic abnormalities. Birth defects are more common. Developmental disorders. The genetic effects extend to second generation, even third generation. The radiation has altered DNA, has changed genes. The international impact. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima influenced international relations. The United Nations is formed. With nuclear weapons prohibition in mind, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty is signed, trying to limit nuclear weapons. International pressure for nuclear disarmament grows, but nuclear weapons remain, proliferate, spread worldwide. The Cold War nuclear threat. The Cold War was dominated by nuclear weapons. Mutually assured destruction. MAD. If one side attacks, both are destroyed. Nuclear weapons were stockpiled, thousands of weapons. The threat of nuclear war hung over the world. The threat lasted 45 years, 1945-1991. The Cuban Missile Crisis. October 1962. The Cuban Missile Crisis. Nuclear war nearly happens. Soviet Union and United States nearly go to war over nuclear missiles in Cuba. The crisis lasts 13 days. The world holds its breath. The crisis is resolved. But the threat is real. Nuclear war is possible. The nuclear accidents. Several nuclear weapons accidents occur. Over the decades, aircraft carrying nuclear weapons crash. Weapons are lost. Submarines with nuclear weapons sink. Weapons remain on ocean floor. Launch facilities have false alarms, nearly trigger nuclear war. The risks of nuclear weapons are very real. The Hiroshima message to the world. Hiroshima's message: nuclear weapons are uncontrollably destructive. The message: nuclear weapons cause unacceptable human suffering. The message: nuclear weapons must never be used again. The message: world must disarm. Eliminate nuclear weapons. The message continues. Resonates as relevant. The peace advocacy. Hiroshima becomes symbol of peace. Symbol of anti-war movement. Peace activists reference Hiroshima. Reference nuclear weapons horror. Youth movements adopt Hiroshima as cause. Work for disarmament. The Hiroshima message spreads, becomes worldwide movement. The Nobel Prize connection. Setsuko Thurlow. A Hibakusha, to survivor of Hiroshima. Thurlow becomes peace advocate, works for nuclear disarmament. In 2017, Thurlow receives Nobel Peace Prize. On behalf of ICANN, International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. ICANN is awarded prize for work toward nuclear disarmament. The prize's connection between Hiroshima. Modern disarmament movement. The 80-year perspective. 80 years after Hiroshima, 2025. Nuclear weapons still exist, thousands of weapons worldwide. The threat of nuclear war still exists, though reduced. Russia and United States have fewer nuclear weapons than Cold War peak. But other nations have acquired nuclear weapons. Nuclear proliferation continues. The Hiroshima experience lasting. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima is seared into human consciousness. The image of the mushroom cloud. Iconic, recognizable worldwide. The story of Hiroshima. The destruction, the suffering, the loss. The story is told and retold. Generation to generation, the story is never forgotten. The responsibility message. Hiroshima tells the world, use of nuclear weapons is responsibility of humanity. If nuclear weapons exist, they might be used. Therefore, preventing use is humanity's responsibility. Preventing use requires disarmament, requires eliminating nuclear weapons. The Peace Memorial Park. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park is visited by millions annually. The park is sacred space, space for reflection, for mourning, for peace. The park contains the Genbaku Dome, shows bombs' destructive power. The park contains the cenotaph, memorial to the unknown dead. The park is symbol of Hiroshima, symbol of peace. The continuing relevance. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima remains relevant today. As long as nuclear weapons exist, Hiroshima is relevant. As long as nuclear weapons threaten, Hiroshima is relevant. The story of Hiroshima. The lessons of Hiroshima remain essential. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima is the beginning of a new era. The atomic age. The nuclear age. The age when humans can destroy cities in an instant with a single weapon. The age transforms everything. Politics, warfare, international relations, human existence. The Trinity tests echo July 16, 1945. Trinity test in New Mexico. Robert Oppenheimer watches the nuclear explosion, witnesses the power. Oppenheimer remembers Hindu scripture, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The power is terrifying. The responsibility is overwhelming. Oppenheimer realizes humanity has changed, fundamentally changed. The Oppenheimer regret. Oppenheimer initially supports the bomb, supports its use, supports its development. But after Hiroshima, after seeing the destruction, the regret begins. Oppenheimer testifies to Congress, expresses concerns about nuclear weapons. Oppenheimer becomes advocate for nuclear control, for disarmament. The scientist's guilt. Many Manhattan Project scientists feel guilt. The scientists created the bomb, made the destruction possible. The scientists didn't intend to kill civilians, but the bomb does. The guilt is profound. Lasting many dedicate remaining lives to disarmament. The Truman reflection. Truman authorized the bombing, made the decision after Hiroshima. Truman reflects, questions the decision, wonders if it was right. Truman later says, would not have authorized bombing if invasion would have been easier. But Truman also defends the decision, says it saved lives. The controversy endures. 80 years later, historians still debate the decision. Was it necessary? Was it justified? Was it moral? Historians remain divided. The debate continues. Evidence is complex. Interpretations differ. The historical counterfactuals. If Hiroshima hadn't been bombed, would Japan have surrendered anyway? Would invasion have been necessary? How many more would have died? These questions are unanswerable, but they shape the debate. The post-war nuclear weapons after World War II. Nuclear weapons proliferate. The United States maintains nuclear arsenal, develops new weapons. The Soviet Union develops nuclear weapons, begins arms race. Britain, France, China develop nuclear weapons. Other nations follow, India, Pakistan, Israel. Others' nuclear weapons spread, proliferate, become common. The Bikini Atoll tests 1946. The United States conducts nuclear weapons tests. Operation Crossroads. Tests at Bikini Atoll in Pacific. Multiple nuclear weapons detonated, effects are studied. The tests show nuclear weapons power, show nuclear weapons effects. The tests create nuclear fallout. Contaminate the atoll, the peaceful atomic energy after the war. A vision develops, peaceful atomic energy. Atoms for peace, nuclear energy to provide electricity. Nuclear power plants are built. Worldwide, nuclear energy provides power, but creates nuclear waste problem. Nuclear waste is dangerous, remains radioactive for centuries. The Cold War standoff. The Cold War is defined by nuclear weapons. Mutually assured destruction. Both sides have enough weapons to destroy the world. The weapons are in missiles, in aircraft and submarines. The weapons are ready to launch. At all times, 24 hours a day. The standoff lasts 45 years, from 1945 to 1991. The nuclear doctrine, military doctrine changes. Nuclear weapons change war theory. Doctrine of deterrence. If attacked, retaliate with nuclear weapons. Doctrine of mutually assured destruction. Prevents war because both sides lose. Doctrine shapes military thinking, shapes international relations. The nuclear weapons stockpile peak. By 1980s, stockpile of nuclear weapons reaches peak. United States 30,000 plus nuclear weapons. Soviet Union 35,000 plus nuclear weapons. Total worldwide 70,000 plus nuclear weapons, enough to destroy civilization multiple times over. The end of Cold War, 1989. The Berlin Wall falls, symbolizes Cold War's end, 1991. The Soviet Union collapses, ends the Cold War. The threat of nuclear war diminishes, but doesn't disappear. Russia and United States begin disarming. Reduce nuclear weapons, but thousands of weapons remain. Threat persists. The nuclear proliferation problem. Despite non-proliferation treaty. Nuclear weapons spread. Pakistan develops nuclear weapons. North Korea develops them. Iran attempts to develop them. Israel has them, not officially. The proliferation is continuing problem. More nations with weapons. More risk of nuclear war. The terrorist nuclear threat. Modern threat. Terrorist obtaining nuclear weapons. If terrorist group gets nuclear weapon, uses it on city. The consequences would be catastrophic. Global community works to prevent this, but threat remains. The Hiroshima's 80-year legacy. 8 decades after Hiroshima, nuclear weapons still pose existential threat to humanity. The threat remains as long as weapons exist. Hiroshima is reminder. Message. The survivor testimonies. Hibakusha survivors tell stories. Even 80 years later, some are now elderly. In their 90s, last generation of direct survivors. Their stories become more precious, more important. Soon there will be no more direct survivors. Only testimony. The documentary archives. The testimonies are recorded, preserved, archived. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum maintains archives. Video testimonies are preserved. Written accounts, photographs. Future generations will have access. We'll know the stories. The education program Hiroshima is teaching tool. Educators use Hiroshima to teach history, teach nuclear weapons, teach peace. Students visit Hiroshima, see the memorial, learn the story. The education spreads understanding, spreads commitment to peace. The Nuclear Disarmament Advocacy International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, ICAN. Founded to work toward nuclear disarmament, toward eliminating weapons, ICAN received Nobel Peace Prize in 2017. ICAN work continues advocating for disarmament. The New START Treaty 2010. Russia and United States sign New START Treaty. The treaty limits nuclear weapons, reduces arsenals. By 2026, each side limited to 1,550 deployed warheads. Significant reduction from Cold War peak, but still thousands. The Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. 26. The Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty is signed. The treaty prohibits nuclear weapons testing worldwide. The treaty is to prevent development of new nuclear weapons. Over 180 nations have signed, but not all. United States hasn't ratified. The nuclear weapon-free zones. Many regions have declared themselves nuclear weapon-free zones. South America to Africa, Southeast Asia, South Pacific. These zones forbid nuclear weapons, forbid nuclear testing. The zones represent commitment to peace. The 2021 UN Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. January 2021. The UN Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons enters into force. The treaty bans nuclear weapons, completely categorically. Over 50 nations have signed. Most don't have nuclear weapons yet. Major nuclear weapon states haven't signed, but treaty exists. The Hiroshima Perspective on Disarmament. Hiroshima teaches, nuclear weapons should be eliminated. Hiroshima teaches, living under nuclear threat is unacceptable. Hiroshima teaches, world would be safer, better, without nuclear weapons. Hiroshima's message, disarmament is necessary, essential. The remaining challenges. Despite decades of effort, nuclear weapons remain political obstacles, military considerations, strategic concerns. Nations won't give up nuclear weapons. Fear security consequences, the arms race mentality persists. Despite Cold War's end, the faith in humanity, despite challenges. People work for disarmament. Hibakusha survivors advocate. Nobel Prize winners advocate. International organizations work. Governments negotiate. The work continues. The hope persists. Disarmament is possible. The Hiroshima message today, 80 years after the bombing. Hiroshima's message is relevant, essential, vital. The message, nuclear weapons must be abolished. The message, peace is possible, disarmament is achievable. The message, humanity has the choice. Can choose peace. The memorial rededication, August 6th. Every year, Hiroshima Peace Memorial Day. Survivors remember, nation remembers. World remembers. The memorial is rededicated. Prayers are offered. The commitment to peace is renewed. The future hope. The future is uncertain. Nuclear weapons may be reduced further, or may proliferate, may be used, but Hiroshima teaches, shows the consequence, shows the horror. The lesson persists, the warning echoes. The final message. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima is history's most destructive act by single weapon. The bombing killed 140,000 people, plus hundreds of thousands more in following decades. The bombing changed human history, ushered in nuclear age. The bombing created Hiroshima, a symbol, a warning, a message. The message, never again. No more nuclear weapons, peace is the only answer. 3 days after Hiroshima, August 9, 1945, another B-29 bomber flies toward Japan. Another atomic bomb in the bomb bay. This bomb is different, more powerful. Different design, different name. The bomb is called Fat Man, a plutonium bomb, the second atomic bomb. The target is Nagasaki, another Japanese city, about to face annihilation. The Nagasaki situation. Nagasaki is a port city, population approximately 250,000. Nagasaki is an industrial city, shipbuilding. Coal mining. Weapons production. Nagasaki has not been extensively bombed. The city is relatively intact. Nagasaki has been designated as alternative target in case Hiroshima was clouded over. The Boxcar mission. Major Charles W. Sweeney pilots the aircraft. The B-29 is named Boxcar. Sweeney is experienced pilot, familiar with the B-29, familiar with bombing runs. The crew is prepared. The bomb is armed. The mission is authorized. The Boxcar takes off from Tinian Island, August 9, 1945, early morning. The primary target, Kokura. The primary target is Kokura, a city with military significance. The Boxcar heads to Kokura. The bomb is intended for Kokura. Kokura is a few miles from Nagasaki. Tsara, the weather problem. As the Boxcar approaches Kokura, the weather is terrible. Clouds cover the city. Heavy clouds, low visibility. Smoke from previous firebombing obscures the view. Smoke and haze. The bombardier cannot see Kokura, cannot make bombing run without visibility. The crew makes 3 bombing runs. Each time, clouds obscure the target. The bomb cannot be dropped. The visibility is too poor. The fuel crisis. The Boxcar has limited fuel. The aircraft has been flying for hours. The extra time spent over Kokura, circling, attempting to see through clouds. The fuel is decreasing, running low. Major Sweeney realizes there is not enough fuel to return to Tinian and land safely. The decision must be made. Continue to alternate target or abort mission. The diversion to Nagasaki. Major Sweeney decides, divert to Nagasaki. The alternate target, the Boxcar, turns south, heads toward Nagasaki. The distance to Nagasaki is shorter than distance back to Tinian. The diversion might save the fuel situation, might allow safe return. The decision is made. Nagasaki is the new target. The Nagasaki weather. As the Boxcar approaches Nagasaki, the weather is clearing slightly. The clouds are breaking up. Visibility is improving. The bombardier can see glimpses of the city. A break in the clouds. The stadium in Nagasaki becomes visible. The targeting opportunity presents itself. The bombing run, 11:02 a.m. Nagasaki time. The bombing run begins. The Boxcar is at altitude. Flying on approach, the bomb bay doors open. The bomb is exposed. The bombardier lines up the target. Visible through the clouds. The target, the Urakami Valley. The industrial and residential area. The Fat Man bomb. Fat Man weighs 10,000 pounds. Bulky, heavier than Little Boy. Fat Man uses plutonium-239 implosion design. The bomb's yield is estimated at 21 kilotons. More powerful than Little Boy, 15 kilotons. The bomb is ready, armed, waiting to be released. The release. The bombardier releases the bomb. The Fat Man falls from the aircraft. The bomb descends, falls toward Nagasaki, 1,650 feet to detonation height. The aircraft feels the weight release, becomes lighter. Sweeney banks the aircraft. The Boxcar turns away, dives for distance, wants to escape the blast. The detonation 1,650 feet above Nagasaki. Above the Urakami Valley, the bomb detonates. The explosion is massive, more powerful than Hiroshima. The blast is 40% more powerful than Little Boy. The heat is overwhelming. The light is blinding. The shockwave is tremendous. The destruction zone. At ground level, buildings are obliterated. Vaporized, destroyed completely. The blast radius is enormous. Miles of destruction. The firestorm begins. Fires ignite everywhere, simultaneously. The firestorm spreads, burns through the city, consumes everything combustible. The terrain advantage. Nagasaki is surrounded by hills, mountains, different from Hiroshima's flat terrain. The hills partially shield some areas from the blast. Some neighborhoods are protected. The blast bounces off hills. Reflects. Creates complex damage patterns. The destruction is less complete than Hiroshima, but still devastating. The Mitsubishi factory. The bomb detonates almost directly above the Mitsubishi Zosen factory. The factory is destroyed, completely destroyed. The factories in the valley are obliterated. The industrial area is devastated. Production ceases forever. The residential areas. The residential areas are damaged, but more protected by terrain. Some neighborhoods are relatively spared. Some blocks remain standing. But the damage is still catastrophic. Tens of thousands of buildings destroyed. The residential population suffers terribly. Thousands killed. The casualty toll. Approximately 40,000 people are killed immediately. Over the following months, additional deaths from radiation sickness. from burns, from disease. By end of 1945, approximately 70,000 total deaths in Nagasaki. By present day, total death toll estimated at 140,000 plus, from radiation-induced cancers over decades. The evacuation success. Nagasaki had evacuated many people. Tens of thousands had left the city. The evacuation was prior to the bombing, for air raid protection. The evacuation saved lives, reduced the death toll. But tens of thousands remained and died. The mushroom cloud. The mushroom cloud rises, reaches 60,000 feet, possibly higher. The cloud is photographed, documented. The cloud is visible from great distances. From 400 plus miles away, the cloud is iconic, symbol of the atomic bomb. The shock wave. The boxcar is 11.5 miles away, yet feels the shock wave. The aircraft is buffeted, shaken by the blast. The crew is thrown in their seats, held by harnesses. The shock wave is powerful, even from 11.5 miles away. The firestorm. The firestorm spreads through Nagasaki, burns for hours, burns for days. The firestorm destroys much of the city, sets it ablaze. The firestorm temperature is intense, above 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The firestorm consumes everything, leaves nothing behind. The medical collapse. Nagasaki has limited medical facilities. Most destroyed. Medical personnel are killed, injured, unable to work. Medical supplies are destroyed. No bandages, no medicine, no instruments. The survivors need medical care. There is no medical care available. The rescue attempts. Rescue workers attempt to find survivors, pull people from rubble. The rescue efforts are hampered. Infrastructure destroyed, communications down. The rescue efforts are slow, ineffective, overwhelmed by the scale of disaster. The return to Tinian. The boxcar has fuel crisis. Must return to Tinian. The fuel is critically low. The aircraft barely has enough to reach Tinian. Major Sweeney urges the crew, prepare for ditching in the ocean. If fuel runs out, the aircraft flies back, racing against fuel depletion. The Tinian landing. The boxcar reaches Tinian. The fuel is nearly empty. The aircraft makes emergency landing. Fuel gauge is nearly empty. The landing is successful. The crew survives. The mission is complete. The world reacts. The world learns. A second atomic bomb has been dropped. 2 cities destroyed, 2 atomic bombs used. The shock is worldwide. The fear is worldwide. The message is clear. The United States has multiple atomic weapons. The Japanese government shock. The Japanese military is stunned. A second city destroyed, 2 cities destroyed in 3 days. The pattern is clear. More bombs are coming. More cities will be destroyed. The situation is desperate. The military understands Japan cannot win. The government divided. The Japanese government is divided. Some want to surrender, some want to continue. The military wants to continue fighting, to the death. The civilian government wants to surrender, to save the nation. The division is preventing decision. The government is paralyzed. The emperor's role. Emperor Hirohito becomes central to the decision. Historically, the emperor is ceremonial figure, not political decision-maker, but the government is deadlocked. 3 votes for surrender, 3 votes against. The emperor must decide. The emperor must break the tie. The historic decision, August 9, 1945. Late evening, the emperor breaks the tie. The emperor orders, Japan must surrender. The decision is made, the war must end. The fighting must stop. The order is given. The surrender process begins. The announcement preparation. The announcement must be made to the Japanese people. The emperor must speak, for the first time, to the people directly. A recording is made. The emperor's voice is recorded. The message is recorded on phonograph. Will be broadcast to the nation. The broadcast preparation went on August 14, 1945. The broadcast is prepared. Sound technicians set up equipment. In Tokyo Imperial Palace, the emperor records his message. The Gyokuon Hoso, broadcast of the emperor's voice. The voice is formal, classical Japanese, difficult to understand. The formal surrender, August 15, 1945. The broadcast is aired at noon Japan time. The emperor's voice is broadcast. The message is confusing to many. The formal language is difficult, but the meaning is clear. Japan is surrendering. The war is over. The celebration in America, August 15, 1945. America celebrates VJ Day. Americans hear the news. Japan has surrendered. The war is over. Celebrations erupt across America. Cities, towns, streets. The war in the Pacific is finally over. The atomic bombs worked. The formal surrender ceremony. September 2, 1945. The formal surrender ceremony aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay. Japanese representatives sign the surrender document. American representatives witness the signature. The war ends on September 2, 1945. Official end of World War II. The war that killed millions, destroyed civilizations. The war that began in 1939, ends in 1945. 6 years of war. Absolute devastation. The atomic bomb's role. Did the atomic bombs cause the surrender? The answer is debated, but the bombs certainly influenced the decision. The atomic bombs demonstrated Japan could not win. The atomic bombs showed continued fighting was futile, deadly, pointless. The Nagasaki's legacy. Nagasaki, like Hiroshima, becomes symbol of atomic warfare. Nagasaki becomes symbol of nuclear weapons power. Nagasaki becomes symbol of nuclear weapons' indiscriminate destruction. The two cities become connected, linked in history. The atomic bombings end the war, but the aftermath begins. The aftermath is devastating. The aftermath is long-lasting. The aftermath changes humanity. The immediate aftermath, Hiroshima. Hiroshima is destroyed. August 6, 1945 by August 15, 1945. 9 days later, approximately 140,000 people are dead or dying or severely wounded. The city is ruins, complete destruction, total devastation. The immediate aftermath, Nagasaki. Nagasaki is destroyed. August 9, 1945 by August 15, 1945. 6 days later, approximately 70,000 plus people are dead or dying or severely wounded. The city is ruins. Less complete than Hiroshima, but still devastated. The occupation begins. August 30th, 1945. American forces arrive in Japan. The occupation begins. General Douglas MacArthur commands. American forces occupy Japan for 7 years. The occupation reshapes Japan, rebuilds Japan, changes Japan. The Atomic Bomb Casualty Commission. The United States establishes Atomic Bomb Casualty Commission, ABCC. Commission is to study effects of atomic radiation. Commission tracks survivors, documents effects, conducts research. Commission later becomes Radiation Effects Research Foundation, RERF. The survivor studies begin. Approximately 200,000 survivors are identified, called Hibakusha. The survivors are studied. Their health is monitored. Their outcomes are documented. The studies continue for decades. For over 80 years, the studies revolutionize understanding of radiation, of atomic bomb effects. The radiation sickness. Within days of bombing, acute radiation sickness symptoms appear. Symptoms: severe nausea and vomiting, hemorrhaging, bleeding, hair loss, diarrhea, mouth sores, radiation burns. The symptoms are from high radiation exposure. Acute exposure. The acute deaths. 3 weeks after bombing, deaths from radiation sickness peak. The deaths are from acute radiation syndrome. Victims die from organ failure, from bleeding, from infection. The acute deaths number tens of thousands by end of 1945. The eye cataracts. Radiation exposure causes cataracts, eye lens clouding. Cataracts develop years after exposure. Cataracts cause vision loss, blindness eventually. Cataracts are long-term effect, appear decades after bombing. The keloid scar survivors often have severe keloid scars. Excessive scar tissue. Keloids form on burn wounds. Hypertrophic scarring. Keloids are disfiguring, painful. Permanent keloids are unique to atomic bomb survivors. More common in survivors. The psychological trauma survivors experience profound psychological trauma. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD symptoms. Nightmares, anxiety, depression, flashbacks. The psychological damage is lifelong, affects entire lives. The survivor discrimination. Survivors face discrimination. Social stigma. Japanese society stigmatizes survivors, treats them as different, as contaminated. Survivors have difficulty getting married, getting employment. The discrimination is cruel, unjust but real. The Hibakusha identity survivors form identity. As Hibakusha, as atomic bomb survivors, the identity is both burden and badge of honor. The survivors maintain connection, community, mutual support. The medical care challenges. Medical care for survivors is challenging. Doctors don't understand radiation effects. Our learning treatment options are limited. Radiation injuries are difficult to treat. Surgery, not radiation therapy. Chemotherapy. Progress slowly. The fertility issues. Survivors face fertility challenges. Reproductive system damage. Women survivors have reduced fertility. Miscarriage rates increase. Children of survivors have higher birth defect rates. The reproductive damage is profound, affects family planning. The social reintegration survivors struggle to reintegrate into society. Visible injuries, disfigurement, psychological damage. Many survivors withdraw, isolate, become socially disconnected. The reintegration is slow, difficult, incomplete for some. The financial hardship. Many survivors are poor, disabled, unable to work. Medical care is expensive. Treatment is costly. Many survivors live in poverty, struggle financially. Japanese government eventually provides compensation, but inadequate. The government response. Japan. The Japanese government eventually acknowledges survivors, provides medical care, provides compensation, but the response is slow, inadequate, begrudging. The survivors feel abandoned by their government. The international response. International community expresses sympathy, but provides limited material support. The survivors are largely left to their own. The survivor advocacy. Survivors become advocates for peace, for disarmament. Survivors travel worldwide, tell their stories. Survivors speak about atomic bombs, about nuclear weapons. Survivors demand never again. No more nuclear weapons. The survivor organizations. Organizations of survivors are formed. Nihon Hidankyo, Japan Confederation of Atomic and Hydrogen Bomb Sufferers. Organizations advocate for survivors' rights. For disarmament. Organizations maintain survivor community, provide support. The Memorial Day, August 6th, every year. August 6th, Hiroshima Peace Memorial Day. Survivors gather, nation gathers, world gathers. Survivors are honored. Victims are remembered. Commitment to peace is renewed. The Peace Memorial Park. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park is built. The Genbaku Dome, atomic bomb dome, is preserved. The cenotaph honors the victims. The park is visited by millions annually. The Nagasaki Peace Memorial. Similar memorial is built in Nagasaki. The Nagasaki Peace Park honors victims. The peace advocacy continues. The reconstruction of cities. Hiroshima is rebuilt. Slowly, painfully. New buildings are constructed. New city emerges. By 1970s, Hiroshima is reconstructed. A modern city. Nagasaki is similarly rebuilt. The economic recovery. The cities recover economically. Over decades, industry returns. Population grows. Economy develops. By 1990s, both cities are thriving. Modern cities. The recovery shows human resilience. The changing public perception. Over time, public perception of survivors changes. Initially, survivors are stigmatized, treated as different. Later, survivors are honored, treated with respect. By present day, survivors are national treasures, historical figures. The generational shift. Younger generations view survivors differently. Younger generation honors survivors, learns from survivors. Younger generation becomes advocates for disarmament. The message passes to new generation. The atomic bombing of Hiroshima changed human history. August 6, 1945 to 8:15 a.m. The moment changed everything in an instant. A city is destroyed. Civilization is transformed. The nuclear age begins. The historical turning point. August 6, 1945 marks turning point in human history. From this moment, humans have power to destroy civilization. The power is awesome. The power is terrifying. The power changes everything. International relations. War. Peace. Human existence. The immediate military consequence. The atomic bomb ends the war. In the Pacific, Japan surrenders. August 15, 1945, 9 days after Hiroshima. The bomb forces surrender without invasion. The invasion would have cost millions of lives. The bomb saves millions, or so the argument goes. This argument remains debated. The strategic significance. The atomic bomb demonstrates war has changed fundamentally. Traditional military power is obsolete. Nuclear power is dominant. The bomb gives nation that possesses it overwhelming advantage. The advantage is temporary, but significant. The Soviet awakening. The Soviets observe atomic bomb's power. The Soviets realize nuclear weapons are game-changing. The Soviets accelerate nuclear weapons program. By 1949, Soviet Union has atomic bomb. The nuclear arms race begins. The nuclear weapons proliferation. After Hiroshima, nuclear weapons proliferate worldwide. Soviet Union develops weapons. Britain develops weapons. France develops weapons. China develops weapons. Other nations follow. India, Pakistan, Israel, North Korea. 9 nations now possess nuclear weapons. The Cold War nuclear standoff. The Cold War, 1945-1991, is defined by nuclear weapons. Mutually assured destruction, MAD. Both superpowers have enough weapons to destroy world. The doctrine prevents war, ironically, because war is too destructive. The standoff lasts 45 years. The Cuban Missile Crisis. October 1962. Nuclear war nearly happens. Soviet missiles in Cuba. American response. The crisis lasts 13 days. The world holds breath. Nuclear war is averted, but barely. The crisis shows nuclear war is possible. The deterrent strategy. Nuclear weapons are justified as deterrent. If attack occurs, retaliate with nuclear weapons. The threat of retaliation prevents attack. The strategy works, but depends on rationality. The strategy is fragile, can fail. The nuclear doctrine evolution. Military doctrine changes due to nuclear weapons. From massive retaliation to flexible response. From first strike advantage to second strike deterrence. The doctrine is complex, continually evolving. The academic nuclear war studies. Universities develop nuclear war studies programs. Scholars study nuclear deterrence. Nuclear strategy. Models of nuclear war are created. Scenarios analyzed. The scholarship is disturbing. Reveals horrible possibilities. The mutual vulnerability. Nuclear weapons create mutual vulnerability. Both sides vulnerable, neither side safe. The vulnerability is absolute, permanent. The vulnerability forces coexistence, forces peace or mutual annihilation. The international treaties. Various treaties attempt to limit nuclear weapons. Partial Test Ban Treaty, 1963. Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, 1968. Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, SALT. Arms Reduction Treaties, START. The treaties are progress, but insufficient. The anti-nuclear movement. The atomic bombs inspire anti-nuclear movement. Activists demand disarmament. Activists oppose nuclear power plants. Activists protest nuclear testing. The movement grows, becomes worldwide. The peace movements are energized by atomic bombs. Movements demand end of nuclear weapons. Movements demand end of war, of militarism. The movements influence public opinion, influence policy. The environmental concern. The atomic bombs raise environmental concerns. Radiation contaminates environment. Nuclear weapons testing creates fallout. Nuclear waste is permanent problem. The environment is threatened by atomic weapons. The medical knowledge research on survivors revolutionizes medical knowledge. Understanding of radiation exposure, of radiation effects, treatment of radiation injuries, prevention of radiation sickness. The knowledge is applied in nuclear accidents. In medical procedures, the knowledge saves lives. The psychological impact atomic bombs create psychological impact on world. Fear of nuclear war. Pervasive throughout Cold War. Anxiety about nuclear weapons. In society, the anxiety influences culture, art, literature. Film. The anxiety is real. The fear is justified. The generational trauma. Atomic bombs create generational trauma on survivors, but also on entire nation, on entire world. The shadow of nuclear weapons looms over Cold War. The shadow influences thinking, decision-making strategy. The regional nuclear conflicts. Nuclear weapons increase risk of regional conflicts. India-Pakistan nuclear standoff. Israel-Iran nuclear tension. North Korea nuclear program. The regional conflicts pose global risks. The terrorist nuclear threat. The greatest fear, terrorist acquiring nuclear weapon. If terrorist uses bomb, catastrophic consequences. The world works to prevent this, but threat remains. The future of nuclear weapons. Will nuclear weapons be eliminated? The answer, uncertain, hopeful, but uncertain. Political will is lacking. Nations cling to weapons, but disarmament advocacy continues. Movements work. Change is possible. The survivor legacy. The survivors are legacy, living connection to atomic bombs. As survivors age, pass away, their testimonies become more precious. The testimonies are archived, will be preserved. Forever, the Hiroshima message. Hiroshima's message is clear, permanent, eternal. Nuclear weapons must never be used again. Nuclear weapons must be eliminated. Peace is the only acceptable future. The world commits to remembering Hiroshima. The world commits to preventing nuclear war. The world commits to disarmament. The commitment is moral obligation. To victims, to future generations. Despite nuclear weapons, hope remains. Disarmament is possible if humanity chooses. Peace is possible if humanity commits. Survivors show way through their advocacy. Through their testimonies, the challenge is clear. The path is clear. Humanity must choose peace or destruction. Disarmament or arms race, future or oblivion. The choice belongs to humanity. August 6, 1945, a city is destroyed. 140,000 people are killed. But the message endures. The message never again. No more nuclear weapons, peace forever. That is Hiroshima's message. That is humanity's challenge. Will humanity choose wisely? The answer, to be determined by our actions. By our choices. The time is now.